Racewear, your source to all custom racewear apparel needs, and home to iRacing apparel. Check it out today at rnrracewear.com.
Spartan Transportation and Spartan Logistic Management is your one source for all your shipping needs. 53-foot dry van shipments, auto transport shipments, full-service in-house brokerage, drop lot facilities, just-in-time deliveries to all auto manufacturers, facilities in St. Louis, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and Indianapolis, Indiana. Spartan Logistics LLC, proud sponsor of the IROC Series, Kyle Steffens UMP Modified and Silver Crown Driver, and Gordy Gundaker, World of Outlaws late model. Visit us at spartan-logistics.net or find us on Facebook.
Checkered flag. Contact and Brian Rose wins it. A photo finish at the line. Oh, we got a wreck. Will Hewitt's through the trial for the final time, and oh, they're wrecking. Big trouble. Vincent Short sneaks through, and I think Short... Talladega Superspeedway lives up to its name. Of all the closed-circuit motorsports facilities in the world where sanctioned auto races are held, it is the fastest. Constructed by the France family 10 years after Daytona International Speedway, Talladega was built slightly longer at 2.66 miles with steeper 33-degree banking which guaranteed record-setting speeds. The pole speed for NASCAR's first race in 1969 was a stunning 199.466 miles per hour, almost 30 miles per hour faster than the Indy cars were then lapping at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Rule changes in 1987 meant that Bill Elliott's 212.809 mile per hour lap will likely stand forever as the qualifying record at Talladega and for NASCAR. Talladega is still the fastest track on the schedule. It holds the record for the fastest 500-mile stock car race at 188.354 miles per hour, Mark Martin's winning speed in May of 1997, and produces some of the most exciting door-to-door racing every year. Talladega puts on 5 separate race events each year as host of the NASCAR Cup Series, Xfinity Series, Craftsman Trucks, and the ARCA Series. Tonight, it's race number 9 of the IROC Challenge Series, and it's next on HBR TV. Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the virtual Talladega Super Speedway for tonight's IROC Challenge Series race number 9. Let's take a look at the race details. 83-degree ambient temperature, 53% humidity under partly cloudy skies. 2 miles per hour breeze. I can't even call it a breeze. That's almost nothing at this point. Track temperature, 133 degrees. Qualifying is complete. Warm-up underway. Let's go trackside right now and see where everyone's stacking out. Aaron Smith, to no one's surprise, fastest thus far with just over a minute left in the session. A little bit more on the race detail side of things. Drivers are provided 2 extra sets of change tires over the wall and a 65% fuel load. Translates to, at least in the draft, between 27 and 30 laps will be the fuel window for these drivers. It's all going to depend on how well they can save fuel within the draft. Of course, that lead car at the front of the pack likely to burn a whole lot more fuel out in front than those drivers behind them, second, third, fourth, fifth, and so on. Drivers get to split the wind resistance between the 2 cars if they're behind the lead car, so it makes it a little bit easier for them to maintain the same amount of speed without burning as much fuel as that lead car. You may see drivers actually opt to give up the race lead at some points during this race, trying to conserve fuel for later on in the run. Again, we do have a stage break, I believe, coming at lap 30 of the 80-lap race distance here tonight. Watch Neil Quick here at the front of the field in the number 2. Well, the warm-up session complete. Only thing left to do now is, well, I'd say take a green flag, but let's take a look at our starting grid for tonight's round number 9 at Talladega Super Speedway. On the pole position with a lap time of 51.842 seconds. It's the number 70 of Aaron Smith. Outside front row, it's the 4 of Jaden Hoppett. Missed it by 19 one-thousandths of a second. Row number 2, Brian McCann in the 3. Garrett Johnston in the number 32. He'll start 4th. Mike Cook in the 00. He'll start 5th. Neil Quick, we saw him in the warm-up session. Not his favorite style racing, but we'll see how he can pull this off here tonight. Starts in the 6th position. Starting 7th, Brandon Mefford. 8th is Doug Wysocki. Rick Kelly will roll from the 9th spot. Cook Quick starts in 10th. Just outside the top 10, it's the number 88 of Jason Nilgis. Jeff No will start from P12. Starting 13th is Bill Tyndall, number 62. John Osborne, 14th. Trevor Quick will start 15th. Larry Bruner, 16th. 17th starter is going to be Michael McDonald. Stan Carnathan will roll from the 18th position. Chris Mefford, the number 46, starts 19th. Adam Johnson, 20th. Matt Kopp, 21st. Chris Wally, 22nd. And last but not least, it's the number 28 of Josh Braley, starting in the 23rd spot. It's your starting grid here at Talladega Super Speedway. Field starting to roll. One pace lap before we go under the green flag. So speaking of the Meffords, let's take a look at this here. Again, we've got a charity race coming up. Care for Kids 200 to be Michigan Speedway coming up September 23rd. I myself, I'm even going to make an attempt here and run this race as well. Open practice starting at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Single car qualifying 8:45, 9 p.m. race time, 200 miles, 100 laps. We got trophies, prize giveaways, and again, all for a good cause. Care for Kids 200, man. If you guys are interested, let us know here in the chat, maybe in the Discord. Find us on Facebook. Whatever you got to do, we'll be in touch. PTM Racing TV going to be covering that one here, as we were not certain we were able to make it, so we decided to forego that one. And PTM expecting them to do a great job with it coming up here again on the 23rd of September. I believe that's next Saturday. So pace car lights are out, so that means we should be green flag racing the next time by, though the pack not quite formed up nice and neat like we like to see. Hopefully they can get that squared away here before they get out of turn number 4. Again, keep in mind, start-finish line not in the center of the tri-oval as it is at Daytona. A little bit further past, more so at pit exit is where you'll see that flag stand. So a little bit further to go. Pace car's still going to hit pit lane here about the same place as they would at Daytona, but the field's got to mind their P's and Q's all the way through this tri-oval before they get back into the Geico restart zone. And Barney the flagman with the green in hand.
Green flag.
Command is given. Green flag waves. We're racing from Talladega Super Speedway. Field already starting to spread out here as we complete lap number 1. Jaden Hopp is going to power to the front of the field here. Brian McCann had the lead on the backside of that first lap, but Hopp goes to the point, drops it down low. The 32 of Johnston drops in behind. Neil Quick, third in line on the low side. Neil Quick up the top side. He's in front of the 23 of Cook Quick. And the 55 of Jeff No. That's your top 6 drivers, top to bottom. This Gen 4 Cup car, again, plenty of horsepower. We're not running the ARCA series here, folks. These guys are going to be moving. Plenty of power to spare, and they're also running, again, that super speedway package. You see the wicker on the roof, a little bit of a wicker on the rear spoiler as well. The whole intent and purpose of that is to create significant drag on these vehicles, which in turn puts a big hole in the air behind them. So there's essentially a vacuum space behind the race car that allows drivers in behind to utilize that, build a run, make a pass, because again, as we spoke about it in the open, you split that wind resistance between the two cars, and the trailing car doesn't need to push as hard to maintain the pace. So that slingshot can kind of come into play. You build a run in from behind, you pull out to pass, then the guy that you are pushing, which also gets a benefit from your draft, all of a sudden doesn't have that help. Neil Quick leads that lap with the 23 of Cook Quick right on the back bumper. Correction, Jaden Hopp actually pushing the 2 of Neil Quick. Cook Quick, the top lane, the number 23, that blue and white machine topside. Inside lane, well organized, a little bit more numbers there as well. They're not tight bumper to bumper to bumper like you would expect them to see maybe in the truck series. Again, the runs come so easily with these race cars, again, with plenty of power to spare, plus the big hole they punch in the air. It's basically like a truck, Craftsman Truck Series vehicle as far as the drag and the hole they punch in the air. The difference is these Gen 4 Cup cars have significantly more power than you'd expect to see out of that Ilmor engine in the truck series. Again, as we talked, the fuel window is about 27 laps on a full tank. That would be specific to the race leader here. He has to use all that horsepower under the hood to push that race car through the wind. So likely to use a full 27 laps, actually 12.1 gallons for 27 laps if they stay out in front. Now, the issue there, we should have our stage caution. I believe it's at lap 30, so that could leave some drivers slightly short on fuel, and it's very difficult to try and save fuel here, especially as the race leader. And if you can tuck in behind, we talked about the draft so many times already, but you tuck in behind another car, you can kind of ease off the throttle and save. Not the case as the race leader or even the lead car in the outside lane. Now it's Jeff No that takes over the top spot, but not for long, I don't believe. I think that inside lane is going to move a little bit faster to the bottom. There it is. Cook Quick pushes ahead of the 55 in 3 and 4. A couple of you guys in the stream chat, Jerry Krause. Good luck, everyone. And then Boogity Boogity Boogity, of course. At the stripe, No leads that one just by about a couple of inches. Quick still out in front. Neil Quick tucked in right behind. And we talked about it early on. Neil Quick certainly not a huge fan of super speedway racing. He's more in the tire strategy type driver out there, but he's doing a good job here staying close to the front of the field. Sometimes it's the best way to avoid the chaos. Stay out in front. Don't get caught in the mid-pack where things can happen in a hurry and you got nowhere to go. Out of turn number 2, Cook Quick still with the race lead. Jeff No going to be able to run to the outside. He's got the 44 of John Osborne, giving him a bit of a draft, a bit of a push down the back straightaway. Cook Quick's going to battle back into 3 once again. It seems that low lane has the advantage, at least at the end of the back straightaway. Bit of a bump coming from Neil Quick into the back of Cook Quick here into the tri-oval. Risky move to make. Bumpers do not line up on these Gen 4 Cup cars as well as others. For instance, the trucks or even the next gen race cars, the Cup Series that you'd have out here. Those guys can push without a problem, without really upsetting the balance of the car. But you can see on these cars, the slope of the front end of these cars almost act like a plow, and it can go into the back bumper of the car in front and lift it off the ground, essentially very easily spin the car out, even on the straightaway. Becomes that much more of an issue in the corners. Right on board with Cook Quick. Still trying to defend that top spot. Seen this after the last couple of laps that Cook is able to maintain that race lead simply by just hanging on the bottom. Outside lane, not able to get organized enough to really get the 55 pushed alongside and then clear of the 23. I gotta say though, it seems to be working. If this is the last handful of laps, I'd kind of say the 55's in a good shape, good position here. Could stay in that position because he's able to edge across the line before Quick each time by. I think Noah's led the last 3 laps. Again, not able to get clear and officially really take over that top spot. But man, if we get back to the start-finish line on the final lap and you're there by just an inch, that's all that matters. What's the line? It doesn't matter if it's winning by an inch or winning by a mile. Winning is winning. We're not there yet. Only 11 laps in here at Talladega. I got a ways to go before we talk about who's going to win this thing. Right now, though, front of the field, it's Jeff No, the 55. Cook Quick in the 23. Cook on the bottom in that white and, I believe, teal-colored machine. Brother Neil Quick in behind in the 2. 32 of Garrett Johnston closing in the back of Neil Quick there on the bottom side. Things unchanged here at the front of the field. The top 4 remain the same. Maybe even back to the top 5 or top 6. Let's look at some big movers, though. Chris Wally up 14 positions here in the first 13 laps. Having a good start to this one. Wally in the number 51, that green machine that's out of the racetrack. Spartan Logistics Transportation LLC colors on board. Really the same for the whole field. And the series primary sponsor is Spartan Logistics Transportation. now into the top 5, really pushing towards the front. Chris Wally is a great super speedway driver, that's for certain. I've had to contend with him myself in one season that I actually drove a truck in this series. Come to think of it, I'm pretty sure I spun myself off the nose of Chris Wally in that race, but hey, it is what it is. Super speedway racing at its best. Chris Wally still battling for the 5th position. We're getting a little crazy here. The 5 gets into the fence on corner exit. That was Trevor Quick as he starts to slide to the back. Things heating up here at the front of the field. Chris Wally trying to go 3 wide here with Aaron Smith in the middle. The 32 of Garrett Johnston on the bottom. Wally doesn't have any drafting help on the high side. He's going to lose some momentum. Tucks back in behind the 70. Now Aaron Smith might go to the high side here. Oh, okay, Wally's going to go with the 70 now. Got some dancing partners on the high side. Once again, trying to make hay on the top lane. Wide for that 3rd row. Cook Quick has slipped back in behind Neil Quick. Osborne slides up in front of Aaron Smith. Oh, a brazen move early on. Osborne trying to go to the point here. Big push coming from behind the 70 of Aaron Smith. Chris Wally tucks in behind the 70 as well. He's not quite to the back bumper out of turn number 2. We'll see what happens down the backstretch. We're 3 wide, maybe 4 wide for the 2nd spot. Now we're 3 wide for P2. Neil Quick's got to make a decision, top, bottom, or middle. Osborne to the point, can come down if he chooses to do so, all the way, top to bottom. New leader on to turn number 4, it's the 44 of John Osborne. Only problem with making that move here at lap 16 is a lot of these guys are going to remember that. Tries to pull that later on with 3 or 4 to go. Probably not going to work. Guys will be ready for it as we're 4 wide for the third row. Here we go, folks. Johnston, no, Smith, and Wally up the racetrack. A big save on a Jeff No off the nose of Aaron Smith. Oh my goodness, how did they save it? Guys, it's only lap 17. We got a ways to go. Aaron Smith takes a peek to the right side of Cook Quick for the race lead here down the back straightaway. Neil Quick's going to close the gap in a hurry. Again, the draft going to come hot and heavy. If Quick keeps his foot down, he'll be right there. 3 wide for the 2nd spot. Little gentle push to Aaron Smith mid-corner. Be careful. Out of turn number 4, 3 wide for the race lead. You got Cook Quick, Aaron Smith, and Chris Wally, but Neil Quick pushing the 70 for all he's worth up the middle of the racetrack to the point. And Aaron Smith with a fistful of wins this season already. We're only 9 races in.
Caution.
And the caution is on the speedway.
Bossman, you're doing a good job. You want to give us an update on that car?
Got a car sideways out of turn number 2. It looks like it's the 00 of Mike Cook. Mike Cook going around here. Let's see if we can find it. Oh, Doug Wysocki pushing in the middle of the corner. Sends the 00 around. And again, to correct my earlier statement on the stage break, I said lap 30. It's actually lap 20, so actually this caution coming out when it does is going to serve as that stage break. Got Jerry Krause in the stream chat again, wanting to know what happened to the 4 of Jaden Hopp. Doesn't look to have any damage on the 4, and I believe he has stayed on the lead lap. Yes, he has stayed on the lead lap, so I don't know if he just lost the draft or decided to check up or what the case may be, but lap 20, we got the break. Hopp will be able to get caught up here without any issues. I think he'll be right back in this thing later on. Again, a fast driver behind that number 4. Who's up towards the front early on. Again, it's not uncharacteristic to see some guys pull out of the pack, even though they might be having a good day early on, you know, up in the top 5, and maybe they don't like what they're seeing, what their gut is telling them. A lot of times they'll pull down, get to the apron, let the pack go on by, and then pick up the tail of the field later on. Pit stop's underway. Everybody coming down pit lane here for some fuel. 2 sets of tires over the wall. Again, I can't imagine guys are going to take tires on this first stop. I suppose it's possible. I know in the trucks and some of the other cars, you can run this entire race without changing the tires at all. But with these Gen 4 Cup cars, that may differ slightly. Again, they got a lot more power. They're a little free in the racetrack. It's going to be fuel only for Aaron Smith for sure. Garrett Johnson looks like he's going to bolt some tires on, though. Brian McCann, let's watch what the 3 does. It's going to be fuel only for the 3. Again, track position, it's important. And we talked about guys that might want to pull out to go to the rear of the field and kind of let the riffraff kind of sort itself out. Jerry Krause says, thank you for the update. No problem, Jerry. Happy to do it. Again, I don't know, certainly that's the problem, but it looks like he's in good shape either way. Talking about Jaden Hopp. So with that, we're going to take a very short break. We'll be back with the green flag after this. Stay with us.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Racewear, your source to all custom racewear apparel needs, and home to iRacing apparel. Check it out today at rnrracewear.com.
Spartan Transportation and Spartan Logistic Management is your one source for all your shipping needs. 53-foot dry van shipments, auto transport shipments, full-service in-house brokerage, drop lot facilities, Just-in-time deliveries to all auto manufacturers. Facilities in St. Louis, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and Indianapolis, Indiana. Spartan Logistics LLC, proud sponsor of the IROC Series. Kyle Steffens, UMP Modified and Silver Crown driver. And Gordy Gundaker, World of Outlaws late model. Visit us at spartan-logistics.net or find us on Facebook.
Back at Talladega Super Speedway, 22 laps complete. iRacing pace car lights are out, so you'll see this driver take that hard left turn down pit lane here in just a moment. Very interesting. We've got a pretty significant inside lane here and only 2 cars to the outside. Many drivers may be opting for a pit stop when they weren't supposed to. Everybody getting that EOL penalty. Hard to say exactly, but the green flag is in the air. We're back racing. Osborne leads us down to the stripe. A good jump for the 44. The 82 of Carnathan's going to tuck in behind. Good for him. He's going to have a draft here all the way down into turns 1 and 2. The 35. Larry Bruner to the outside. He's all by his lonesome. No helping right now, but the 16 may be coming to his aid here in just a moment. That's Mike McDonald in P7. Car out of line, slides way up the racetrack. I think that might have been the 28 of Josh Braley. Indeed it was, in front of Cook Quick, the number 23. They're going to try and work together here, build a run. Nope, Cook looking back to the middle. Tucks back in behind the 16 of McDonald. Out front, still Osborne and Carnathan. Larry Bruner hanging tough on the outside of the 82. He's got the 28 of Braley. They're kind of helping, about a car length and a half off the back bumper. If Braley can close the gap here and push a bit down the straightaway, it may help slightly. Don't think he's close enough to really do anything with it right now as our top 6 driver starting to get away. McDonald trying to make a move to the outside for the race lead, but no help there. Interesting, though, he's still able to maintain that spot with no drafting help to the outside. In fact, he's still making a move here to the outside of the race leader down the back straightaway. Plenty of power in reserve for the Mike McDonald machine. Osborne, though, with some help from Carnathan, pushes him back out in front. Cars are a handful out of turn number 2. You saw many of them sideways on a corner exit. A place like Talladega Super Speedway, you really don't expect to see that. Osborne still out in front. Carnathan glued to the back bumper. The 35 of Bruner. The 3rd car in line on the bottom. Then the 16 of McDonald trying to work the side draft through the tri-oval. Those of you that might be new to racing, the side draft is as follows. You tuck alongside the car next to you as close as you can, and it effectively, depending on where you position the race car, it dumps extra air on the rear spoiler of the car next to you. It slows them down just a little bit. You also can try to sniff a little bit of air off the car in front of them and pick up some momentum on your end. But the biggest part about it, break the draft between the 2 cars you're trying to pass, slow that second car, that trailing car down. take advantage of it, put yourself in the lead. It's not worked just yet for McDonald, but he continues to try it. We've got a battle here on the outside for the 4th and 5th positions. Way up top, the 88 of Jason Nile just with a big run off the nose of the 62 of William Tyndall. At the stripe, Johnson, nope. Osborne, 2nd place. Nile just at the point as he crosses the line, and he dives all the way to the bottom. Power move to the outside from the 88 of Jason Nile, just off the nose of the 62 of Tyndall. Tyndall tucks back in, 3rd in line on the outside. Nile just now your race leader ahead of Osborne. Wide for the race lead, coming to lap 29 at the point. I think it might have been McDonald across the stripe. Tyndall has battled back to the outside. Oh, contact, and they're in the fence. McDonald and Tyndall wrecking here, lap 29. Hard impact, and we stay under green. Big time crash for the two drivers at the front of the field, Mike McDonald and William Tyndall. And again, it does not draw a caution. That is difficult. Now the 4 of Hop trying to scatter and go around the 16 as he's off to pace. Mike McDonald's going to bring it to pit lane here. I think Bill Tyndall is going to do the same. Both drivers with damage. One fast repair available. Tyndall uses his. McDonald misses the pits. And he doesn't. Oh, here he goes. Okay. I thought what might have happened there with the 16 is I'm guessing possibly, I don't know if he made it to pit lane or just missed pit lane, forgot to have his fast repair checked. Nonetheless, these drivers are in trouble. You see how far Tyndall has gotten out in front just from that incident. Here they go. They're going to lose a lap. As the leaders flash on by. Osborne back to the point now. Carnathan in the 2nd spot. Nile just slips back to P3. That incident at the front of the field has spread this field out a little bit. Starting to see 2 distinct packs. Got the 6 drivers up front, then the few stragglers in behind. And then you've got other stragglers further back towards the field. Jaden Hopp, Chris Wally, and then the 00 of Mike Cook. If these 3 get working together here, they can certainly catch that lead pack. But I got to wonder here if this is a strategy move by these 3 drivers. Just kind of take care of their stuff here. Stay out of the big one. Pit together. This way you come into pit lane and you leave pit lane together. That way you've got a dancing partner in the draft. Why is that important, you asked? Those of you that may not be familiar with drafting here on the super speedways, if you pit by yourself and you leave by yourself, well, the field's out there at speed running, well, WAO. They're moving pretty good. Top speed well over 200 miles an hour. John Osborne's fastest right now, 211. Garrett Johnston has cracked 213, and the fastest we've seen Josh Braley hit 215. These guys are moving out there. Only reason they're really able to do that, though, is because of that draft. Again, we talk about splitting up that wind resistance between 2 cars, or in this case, multiple cars. That whole pack as a whole, able to move much faster than a single car by itself. I think the qualifying times compared to now were significantly slower. I think in the mid-50s versus the lap times they're running right now in the 49s. That's Why you want to leave pit lane with a dancing partner so you don't get caught a lap down just from the pit cycle. Got Lindsay MW. Love your knowledge and commentary. I do appreciate that. I've just been watching this stuff since I was a little boy. Now I'm a 40-year-old man commentating on a video game. But I love it. I'm okay with that. Some might not even call it a video game. It's a simulation. It's pretty close. It's not perfect, but it's fun. Out front, Larry Bruner now takes over the top spot. Little switcheroo here. John Osborne back in the second spot or third, depending on what tower you're looking at. These guys are just inches apart here down into turns 3 and 4. Bruner on the bottom. Osborne and Nile just side by side in the second row. Then Carr Nathan, and then the number 28 machine of Josh Braley. That's your top 5. And as we were talking about, being able to close the gap, that 3-car draft has closed in and caught the lead pack. Jaden Hopp, Chris Wally, Mike Cook. Mike Cook still keeping a careful distance. You know they've got the faster pair, but he doesn't want to have to use it, especially before halfway. Guys are getting a little racy. Big run for the 28. No help really behind him, but he's trying to go to the outside of Nile. Just not enough of a run to get it done. Going back to the tire conversation, again, 2 sets available over the wall here today. Some drivers have opted for them. Most of them took fuel only, at least on that first stop at lap 20. I don't know if I'd want to go the entire race distance in this Gen 4 Cup car on the original set of tires, but I am willing to bet it's possible, and some guys might try. Now, with that said, if this was a truck race, for instance, or even the Next Gen Cup Series race, you can absolutely go to the finish without taking tires. Now, why would you take tires if that was possible? Well, it kind of opens things up for you a little bit. It gives you an opportunity to make more aggressive moves, change lanes more aggressively, top to bottom, trying to make that move and surprise the guy that you're trying to pass and still maintain the back of the car, not spin it out. Try that with old, worn tires. Maybe you get sideways, maybe you don't. But sometimes the confidence, knowing that it's going to stick, makes a big difference. So, Lindsay MW, just following up on our in-race conversation, says, I'm pushing 40. Watched as a little girl with my dad. Number 4 is my son. His grandpa would love this. That's a really cool story. I mean, you know, my dad the same. He's the one who got me into this whole thing to begin with. Started bringing me to Watkins Glen back in '84. I wasn't even 2 years old yet. Haven't missed a race since. It's a labor of love. They pay me to watch races. I'm okay with that. Meanwhile, Bruner is still out in front over Osborne. Carnathan there in third. These 3 cars have been pretty stout here at the front of the field. I don't think Carnathan has sniffed the lead just yet, but he's been awfully close. Again, sitting there in the 3rd spot. Changes for a position here. Nile just kind of hung on the outside, starting to slide back. Quick coming back into the fray here off the nose of the 83 of Brandon Mefford to the point out of the tri-oval. Neil Quick, race leader. Mefford not waiting a second longer. He's got his brother to the back bumper. He's going to the outside for the race lead on Neil Quick. 83 in the 46. It's Mefford, and we're not talking about the attorneys. Quick in the middle with no help. The outside lane's going to freight train the 2. Bruner might be able to tuck in behind Quick here, but I don't think he realizes there's no help. Bruner stays in line. Mefford's come down to the bottom here. That's going to give a draft to the 35. Bruner's going to hang tough in the third spot. Got Jerry Krause says, I always took at least 2 tires in racing at Talladega or Daytona. You can get away with it, but it helps so you're not driving on ice. Yeah, 2-tire stop typically, depending on how much fuel you got to put in the thing. You can usually get away with a 2-tire change while you put fuel in it, unless it's a splash and go late. But yeah, it's definitely a good idea. Try to get some extra traction out there. Daytona, it was paved somewhat recently, but even that's starting to age. Talladega, kind of the same story. Certainly with these cars. Could be a topic of conversation here in just a little bit. But here we are, coming to lap 41. Now Mike Cook in the 00. Remember him? He was at the end of that pack just about 10 laps ago. Now he's at the lead, or now running second as Osborne goes back to the point. We're going to step aside, get an HBR TV side-by-side break out of the way. Stay with us. You won't miss a moment of the action. We'll be right back.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Talladega Super Speedway, 45 laps in of 80. John Osborne out in front once again off the front bumper of Stan Carnathan. Garrett Johnston up into P3. Mike Cook fourth. Fifth, Josh Braley. Brandon and Chris Mefford has slipped back to 6th and 7th. Checking on some other heavy hitters, Aaron Smith, Brian McCann, Neil Quick. Ducks all lined up in a row. Smith, McCann, and Quick, we see them there in the frame. They're back 12th, 13th, and 14th. I think just saving fuel and, again, taking care of their stuff. The question is, how long do you wait? When do you start making that move back towards the front? Again, Jaden Hopp back in the 18th spot, again behind Cook Quick. Again, Cook was fast early as well. He was leading some laps. Chris Wally in behind the both of them. I'd keep a close eye on them. I think things are going to get real dicey and interesting here as the race starts to wind down. Osborne still with the lead, unchallenged. Carnathan just running there in that second spot. The trick here for Carnathan, he is right on that back bumper of Osborne. He's likely saving a good amount of fuel here. Follow up again in the stream chat. We got Lindsay MW says, Jerry, we grew up driving on ice. We're alive. As a Western New Yorker myself, I concur. Jerry Krause also. True, but not at 210 mile an hour. It felt that way. Back to the action. Osborne still with the race lead. I think all these drivers have really settled into a rhythm, into a groove, knowing that this is the calm before the storm. Most of the drivers lined up relatively close to single file. Occasionally you see one driver peek out left or right trying to get some fresh air to the engines. Aaron Smith still running back in the 12th position. Again, 5 wins on the season already, of having a very successful season right off the bat. Osborne and Carnathan showing that they're working really well together, almost tandem drafting here out of turn number 2. Carnathan takes a peek to the bottom here on the exit of turn 2. I just think that might have been some fresh air. I don't think that was a real move of aggression trying to take that lead away, especially with the 32 with Johnston. A few car lengths off the back bumper. Really no way to make that move and complete it. It's right on board with Carnathan with the driver's eye camera. As pit lane. Okay, we're going to pit instead. Forget the in-car. We're switching it up. Green flag pit stops. Osborne locking it up. Carnathan trying to keep the car straight as they come to pit lane. Johnston down as well. Multiple drivers here on this end of pit lane to make their green flag stops here at lap 51. This should be enough to get him to the finish. Oh, and Carnathan misses the box. He has to back up. That's going to cost him big time. It's also going to hurt Osborne. He had a good drafting partner there. Unless Osborne made the same mistake, he's going to be down and away long before. Carnathan's out, and actually Osborne stays in the pits. Osborne might have taken at least 2 tires. 13 seconds was the stop. Certainly not 4. So they all get lucky. They're going to leave pit lane here in a group. Meanwhile, Aaron Smith stays on the racetrack. We've got other takers down pit lane. Mike Cook, Trevor Quick, Adam Johnston. No. 3 cars now down pit lane. Four cars. Jeff No, Cook, Trevor Quick, Adam Johnson. Two tires for Jeff No. We'll watch the lead here. Aaron Smith, Brian McCann, Neil Quick. Now your race leaders as they come through the recently pitted vehicles. And Aaron Smith's going to drop it down. Traffic trying to weave through, get in the pit lane. How they got away with that one. Oh, Neil Quick loses it on pit entry. Gets into the wall, has to lock him up. Not a severe impact, but he's going to lose a ton of time with this happening under green flag conditions. We'll watch the stop of Aaron Smith. See if he continues on no tires. No, he's going to go right sides at least. Jaden Hopp pulls in just behind. He's got the car up on jacks. Aaron Smith down and away, 2 tires only, 12.62 seconds. Brian McCann, 12.92 seconds. Neil Quick just now finishing up his pit stop. He's going to lose a ton of ground here. Quick drops all the way back into the 18th spot. For now on the lead lap. But it's a lonely sight out the rear view mirror. Neil Quick, no help. And unfortunately, he's a ways back from the pack as well. I don't think he's close enough to pull any draft off those cars out in front. That pit mistake hurting the two significantly. Meanwhile, back out front, Garrett Johnston now the race leader with the 83 of Brandon Mefford in tow. Chris Mefford in third. Aaron Smith, Brian McCann, the balance of the top 5. Johnston goes way up the racetrack, trying to break the draft off Mefford. Chris Mefford stays in line. Just 2 cars up top side. It's going to open the door in the bottom lane. Aaron Smith making a move to the bottom. Just like that, to the point, goes up the racetrack. The 62 was going to follow him, but there was lane blocked by the car that was up there. That was the 32 of Johnston. Didn't take long, though. Carnathan back to the point. Remember, he had a little mishap in the pits as well, but it didn't hurt him too bad. He was able to leave in the draft. Top 9 cars all in one draft. With 25 laps to go, it's Carnathan, No, Johnston, Brandon Mefford, Brian McCann, the top 5. There's a whole other pack in the back there. You see them as they're getting out of turn number 2. These guys are all battling for position here with less than 25 laps to go. If they get formed up single file and just ride, I'd be willing to bet they could close the gap to that lead pack here without worrying about a caution. Looks like they're just going to race it out. Jaden Hopp running in the 7th spot in behind Aaron Smith. Some shuffling up at the front of the field. Battle for the race lead. 3 wide. Carnathan, No, and Johnston. Actually, looks like we might have some lap traffic in the mix here. The 62 at Tyndall not on the lead lap. Carnathan still the race leader in the number 82. The number 32 Tide machine that's in behind Tyndall is not actually the 32 that we have in the timing tower. The 32 of Garrett Johnston is the official 32. I am not sure who's driving the other 32 at this stage because he's also not running the right paint job. A little bit of an interloper there. Maybe it's the 02 of Adam Johnson. Looks like that is the case. Yes. Adam Johnson actually running in the 20th position, 1 lap down. First car, 1 lap down. Caution were to come out, he would be the lucky dog. Race leader Stan Carnathan, though, mixed up with all these lap cars all by his lonesome. Second place, Jeff No, is actually a little bit of ways back. You see him there in the bottom, the number 55 machine. Looks like Jeff's running a different paint scheme this week as well. Michael McDonald top side, lap car up top. Number 16 is slow. Running 23rd currently. "22 laps to go. We're going to take one more side-by-side break, and we'll be back and have this thing running all the way to the checkered flag. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Talladega Super Speedway. 17 laps to go, and it's getting dicey at the front of the field. 3 wide for the top 3 rows, flying in formation. They look like fighter jets on tires over here. Carnathan in the 82 in the center lane, still your race leader. Brian McCann runs second, just in behind. Then Cook quick to his right elbow, and Jaden Hopp in behind Brian McCann. Jeff Noe, the 55, the inside of Hopp. Linking out a little bit there at the exit of the tri-oval. 16 laps to go. Lindsay MW in the stream chat, loving how close this is. I mean, it's super speedway racing at its finest. But again, knock on wood, with less than 16 laps to go, we've only had 1 caution for cause, and effectively it was our stage. It's going to get wild. Tyndall looking to the inside of the 5. That is for position. They're not on the same lap as the leaders, but they are battling. Almost coming to blows there with the 82 of Carnathan. Almost some contact between the 62 and the 5. It could have sent him up into the race leader, but so far, Carnathan jumps back out in front. The battle for that second spot, well, it's not really a battle right now. You got Cook quick behind Brian McCann. He's the top lane car there in the 3 wide lane with 2 lap cars to his left side. Jaden Hopp going to try and push the 5 to the point, see if he can follow the 5 towards the front of the field. It's Carnathan. Now it's Hopp in the second spot, then McCann in third. Wally and Quick, Cook that is, in the top 5. Little wiggle for Carnathan off the nose of the 62. Again, 62 of Tyndall not on the lead lap. You got to be careful. You can't dump the leader as a lap car. You know he's trying to get that lap back. Plus battle for some position here, but you gotta give the leaders some respect. Oh, there's a car almost spinning around. It's the 5. He keeps his foot in it, gathers it up down the backstretch. Aggressive push from the 62 of Tyndall. Now Chris Wally's going to challenge for the top spot. Tyndall drops down to the bottom in front of the 5. Chris Wally with the race lead ahead of Jaden Hopp. Those are both lead lap cars. Laps to go. Chris Wally to the point. Jaden Hopp in the 4 runs second. The 62 in the 5 not on the lead lap. Then it's third place, the 82 of Carnathan, the black and purple machine on the bottom. Then it's Brian McCann and Cook Quick, the number 32 Tide Ride, also not on the lead lap. Then you've got the 16 of McDonald, also interloping there. He is not a lead lap car either. Jeff Noe in the 6th position, the next driver on the lead lap. Just so you know where everyone stacks up here, we've got some drivers in the mix that are not fighting for those top positions, though they will play a factor here with the draft. And likely the overall outcome of this race, as they are in this race too. They're fighting for their spots. Jaden Hopp giving the 62 a big push. He can drop down in front of Wally. Nope, 62 goes to the bottom now, opens the door. Not much of a help there with a 5 in the back bumper of Jaden Hopp. He's going to have to side draft a bit, try and slow some of these guys down out of turn number 2. More help coming on the high side. Battle for the lead. It's Hopp up top. Chris Wally on the bottom. Wally in the black and green, number 51. The white and purple, number 4 up top. That's Jaden Hopp. Stan Carnathan in behind Chris Wally. Slow car up top side. I think that's Neil Quick. Keeps it up in the high lane. Tries to stay out of the way of the race leaders. 10.5 laps to go as they work the back straightaway. Chris Wally with the lead, now about a full car length ahead of the 4. Could slide up in front, opts not to. Doesn't want to open the door to the 82. He's been strong here at the front of the field tonight. Chris Wally was near the back early on, didn't waste any time coming towards the front. He started 22nd out of 23 cars here today, and he's at the lead, coming to 10 laps to go. Now in front of the 4, Jaden Hoppes. He's going to make short work of the 62 at Tyndall. Drops it down in contact behind him. How they didn't just wreck, I don't know. The 5 and the 62 made contact once again mid-corner,
Caution.
and the caution is out.
Quickly, tell me what you got.
Got trouble, I think it might be Mike McDonald. Nope. Car spinning, I think it was the 28 machine of Josh Braley. Yes, indeed. So with 10 laps to go, the caution is on the speedway. This is going to make things interesting. I think some drivers are going to get some laps back the old-fashioned way. Some maybe with the wave around or the lucky dog. Josh Braley not likely to be one of them. Let's see what happened here with the 28 machine. This might have started a little bit earlier. Some drivers were up in the fence. Let's back it up. Oh, that happened way early. Watch the 23 of Cook quick. Off-centered push to the 55. Gets him crossed up. Osborne's to the outside of Cook. Cook comes up the racetrack a bit, sends Osborne up into the safer barrier. It's going to start to slow the momentum of these drivers. You get Aaron Smith. Does he get through this without contact? I think he does. Jason Nilgis, he's going to thread the needle here between the 23 and the 44. And then Braley in the 28 tries to pull it down, but Johnston's there. No contact between those two, but Osborne comes back down the racetrack. And that's effectively what puts us under the caution, is when these two come together out of turn 2. So, Chris Wally, your race leader. Some drivers opting for pit lane here. Jaden Hopp is one of them. That's an interesting strategy here. Maybe a little bit of damage repair on that number 4. Does he have enough time once we go back green? There's a lot of drivers pitting here. It looks like Chris Wally's the only one that stayed out. This could work out really well for Jaden Hopp in this instance. So there's Jaden Hopp using the fast repair here. Again, the closing stages of the race. Right side's in the air for Hopp for sure. Same for Aaron Smith. It's going to be 4 tires and fuel for Aaron Smith. Looks like Brian McCann might have done just 2. Or maybe fuel only. Only 7.5 seconds for the 3. So that changes everything. Chris Wally could be a sitting duck. We'll see. I got to imagine he should be good on fuel. I'm sure he's trying to save. Let's ride along and see if he is clutching the car. Yeah, he's not only clutching, he's shutting it off. Gotta save every drop. So while we're under caution, we're gonna take a very short break. We'll be back after this. Stay with us.
Spartan Transportation and Spartan Logistic Management is your one source for all your shipping needs. 53-foot dry van shipments, auto transport shipments, full-service in-house brokerage, drop-lot facilities, just-in-time deliveries to all auto manufacturers, facilities in St. Louis, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and Indianapolis, Indiana. Spartan Logistics, LLC, proud sponsor of the IROC Series, Kyle Steffens, UMP Modified and Silver Crown Driver, and Gordy Gundaker, World of Outlaws Late Model. Visit us at spartan-logistics.net or find us on Facebook.
R&R Racewear. your source to all custom racewear apparel needs, and home to iRacing apparel. Check it out today at rnrracewear.com.
Checkered flag. Contact and Brian Rose wins it. A photo finish at the line. Oh, we got a wreck. Will Hewitt's through the trial for the final time, and oh, they're wrecking. Big trouble. Vincent Short sneaks through, and I think Short. Back at Talladega Super Speedway, pace car about to hit pit lane. We're going to get the restart here in just a moment. Be coming with 6 laps to go. Wally in the gas.
Green flag.
Seemed like the 51 may have jumped a little early. Not sure exactly what the rule states for that. Not sure if they're using the restart zone or not, but nevertheless, he's out in front. Closing quickly is the 3 of Brian McCann. Big run to the outside, the 4 of Jaden Hopp. With help from the 55 of Jeff No, but Aaron Smith coming to the high side with Jason Nilgis as well. Aaron Smith pokes his nose out to the front of the field. Jaden Hopp in the middle. Going to dive into the bottom, but not enough room. Chris Wally takes up the space in the bottom lane. 3 wide for the race lead, coming to 5 laps to go. 6-car battle for the lead and possibly the win here at Talladega Super Speedway. Jaden Hopp shuffled in the middle with no drafting partners. 3 on the bottom, 3 on the top. 2 on the top. Chris Wally back out in front ahead of Brian McCann. Jaden Hopp slips to 3rd. Battle for the lead continues. Chris Wally to the inside. The number 51, black and green on the bottom. The 4 of Jaden Hopp to the outside. Then it's Brian McCann and Aaron Smith. 2 heavy hitters there in that second row. When will they pull out to make their move? Will they pull out to make their move? Do we even make it to the checkered flag before carnage ensues? Only 2 cautions so far. A very clean race here at Talladega Super Speedway, but will it continue? Less than 4 laps to go. Chris Wally with the race lead, ahead of Brian McCann on the inside. Jaden Hopp up top in front of Aaron Smith and Jason Nilgis. A big run coming up top on the high side. Jaden Hopp losing connection for just a minute, certainly making Aaron Smith nervous. He pulls out, goes to the top side here. Jason now just going to fill the gap, but up top lane, you got Aaron Smith, Chris Mefford, and then the 32 of Johnston, Brandon Mefford, the tail end of that little line. Those four can work together really well here if they can line up nice and straight. Build a big run. Again, less than 3 laps to go down into turn number 3. I don't see how they make it all the way to the finish. I just don't see it happening. I'll be impressed. I just don't see it happening. The trial will come into 2 laps to go. Chris Wally still out in front. Not by much. Maybe a foot, if that, but now it's over with. Hop to the point here. Half a car, maybe, if he's lucky, a quarter of a car, and it didn't last for long. Wally edges back out in front by inches. In that top lane, keep an eye on those 4. The turn 2, almost disaster, striking down the backstretch, a lap and a half remaining. Everybody 3 wide here, jockeying for position. Where do you go? You gotta get your lane to move. That's what Aaron Smith's thinking. Come on, guys, give us a push. Niall just changes lanes, goes up in front of the 70 of Smith. Coming to the stripe, it's gonna be the last lap. White flag in the air, one more time around. Caution can't hurt this one now. It's just a race to the finish. It's survival time for anybody that wants to win this race. Out in front, it's the 88 of Jason Nilgis. No, drops it down below the apron, a little loose, gathers it back up. Oh, and the 88 gets spun out of turn number 2 off the nose of Chris Wally. I know what that's like. Jaden Hopp goes to the point, drops it down to the bottom in front of Chris Wally, trying to change lanes, and oh, the double zero's in the fence, and we got a big wreck into turn number 3. Aaron Smith is in it. Mike Cook is in it. Meanwhile, out in front, Jaden Hopp with the race lead. Chris Wally going to try and make this pass without help. It's a 4-car race to the finish. Brian McCann going to the outside. Cook quick trying to push the 4 to the finish line. Checkered flag in the air. Contact with Chris Wally and the 23 at the stripe. Brian McCann takes the checkered flag by just an inch or 2. Brian McCann, where did he come from? What a finish. Brian McCann with some left front damage. Received right at start finish. This was the finish, folks. Coming to the stripe. Brian McCann somehow managed to get a run. Wally comes up the track trying to break the draft, but just turns him into the 4. But he crosses the line first. Nothing you can do about it. Brian McCann takes the checkered flag. Hop goes for a big ride after the finish. Neil Quick dumping the 3. Brian McCann celebrating here in the Tri-Oval. We're going to jump out here, get our final break out of the way, be back with our top 3 finishers after this. Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Talladega Super Speedway, race number 9 in the books for the IROC Challenge Series. Brian McCann, a thrilling victory here at the Speedway. Let's pull the number 3 into the broadcast booth and get a word with our race winner. Brian McCann and Steve in the HBR TV booth. You got a copy?
I do. How's it going?
It's going good, Brian. We talked briefly before the broadcast about fuel. Didn't really come down to that. It was a thrilling finish, chaos on the backstretch into turn number 3, and then it was a 4-car shootout to the start-finish line. What did it look like out the front windshield of that race car, and how did you get that run coming to the start-finish line?
Last lap there across the white line and looking pretty good. Pushing Wally there, trying to keep him out front, and I noticed Aaron, I think it was Aaron, I'm not really sure. Couldn't see much, but somebody on that outside line pulled out up front, and I was like, oh no, now what I'm gonna do? I'm stuck on the bottom, right? So I pushed Wally, and I don't know if I pushed him too much or what, but they got together there on that backstretch, and then I thought it was all over them because my lane was the slowest lane at that point. The top 2 lanes were racing pretty tough, and we go down into 3, and I hear something up my right side. I'm like, oh no, this is where it's gonna happen, but it messed my car up, but I was able to wheel out of it, and luckily got in that pack of 4 coming to the finish, and just being in last in that pack of 4, I guess, gave me the advantage to get a pretty good run coming out of 4 and down that long front stretch, and just barely got it by a nose.
Certainly a thrilling finish, less than 1/100th of a second the margin of victory. We talked about it early in the broadcast. It doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile, winning is winning.
yeah, fun race tonight. Problem free for the most part. I didn't ever have any issues, no sliding through pits or anything. So overall good night, and luck was in my favor there at the end.
Luck always helps. Obviously, the skill is there for you as well. Taking that skill next week out to Phoenix Raceway, certainly a much different racetrack than Talladega. Going to have to worry a lot about how you put the throttle down at that place. How do you feel about your chances for another win? Make it 2 in a row.
Maybe. I like Phoenix, but I'm probably not going to be good with this car on Phoenix.
Well, we certainly look forward to it, Brian. Again, congratulations on the race win here at Talladega. Who do you want to shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, shout out to my family, you for doing the broadcast, league admins for putting this show on, our sponsors, Spartan Transportation. A huge shout out to them, R&R Racewear. Just drivers showing up tonight, man. It's a fun race out here, a bunch of 3, sometimes 4 wide driving. Just love it. Thank you.
Brian McCann, your race winner here at Talladega Super Speedway. Next, we're going to talk to our runner-up, Jaden Hopp. Thought he had one in the bag, just not enough. If that start-finish line was where it belonged, at least where it would be at Daytona, Jaden Hopp would have a win. Unfortunately, he's got to settle for P2. Jaden, it's Steve in the booth. You got us? Jaden Hopp, it's Steve in the HBR TV booth. You with us?
Yeah, I got you.
There we go. Jaden, congratulations, man. I know this is not what you expected, not what you wanted. You had a strong run coming up through the field, and just a few feet short. You lost it by about 100th of a second. Talk about your race and those closing laps and that final lap coming to the start-finish line where Brian McCann just edged you out by about an inch.
It was definitely stressful, that's for sure, but I can't be too disappointed. The finish was amazing.
Certainly was a very interesting race, a great finish to boot. Next week we go out to Phoenix Raceway. Obviously we're not super speedway racing out there. How do you feel about your chances? Again, throttle control going to be very important, saving the tires. Only got 2 sets there as well. How do you feel about your chances next week?
I'd say I feel pretty good. Phoenix is one of my better tracks, but we'll have to wait and see, obviously.
All right, Jaden. Well, again, congratulations on the runner-up finish here. Who do you want to thank before we let you go?
I'd like to thank you guys for putting on the broadcast, and my mom, grandma, uncle, and aunts for watching the race back home.
All right, Jaden, again, congratulations, man. Thanks for talking to us, and we wish you the best of luck next week.
Thank you.
Jaden Hopp, your runner-up here at Talladega. Next, we're going to go to Chris Wally, get a word with the driver, the number 51. Started almost last here tonight, 22nd out of 23 drivers. Brought it home in the 3rd position. Chris, it's Steve in the booth. You got us?
I got you, sir.
Chris, congratulations, man. A top 3 finish. Biggest mover for sure. You passed 19 cars for position out there tonight. Thought you might have had a win in the hand here, but things went to hell in a handbasket there into turn number 3. Things got kind of crazy. What did it look like from your perspective in that final lap?
Yeah, it was. There's a lot going on right there. We were playing a little fuel strategy about halfway through the race, and then I knew that a lot of guys behind me had pitted where I was having to save a little bit. So, Jason, he took a risk going 3 wide, taking the white flag there with Aaron pushing him, and it pushed him out to the lead, and he jumped down to the bottom. I felt bad. I got into his right rear. Probably should have just pushed him on down the back straightaway, but I was really wanting to take my run to the outside of him, but I wasn't sure if I had enough of a hole there between him and Jaden. And so I accidentally got him turned. Thought we were going to be okay there, and then calamity happened in turn 3. And I knew that at that point my race was probably pretty well shot for the win. Jaden and Cook Quick both had a pretty good run there, and here comes Brian McCann, going back to just him knowing what he's doing. That skill level that he's got, he showed up and showed out right there at the end and showed us what he could do. So congrats to him. But I'm super pumped for a top 3. It's been a while since I've been up here on the podium, so happy about the finish.
Well, we got to ask, we didn't catch it in qualifying. Did you opt not to qualify, or was just that bad of a run? Did something happen?
Yep, I opted not to qualify. One, I wasn't exactly sure what the fuel mileage would look like, on if we would need to save in that first stint or not. And then secondly, I really just wanted to stay out of any trouble. But, you know, whenever you're trying to save, there's not a wreck, and whenever you're trying to go, there ends up being a wreck, and I caused 2 of them at Daytona in race 1, so I was making sure I kept it clean.
Well, the drawback to fighting out in the back of the pack to stay out of trouble, it means if you want to win the race, you still got to go through that pack at some point. But here you are, the top 3 finish. A little bit of calamity out there, but nothing too crazy. Next week, we got to Phoenix Raceway. We actually have to use the brakes out there short of just pit stops. How do you feel about your chances at Phoenix?
Yeah, Phoenix, I'm not going to lie, that one's going to be tough. I'd be happy with the top 10 out there. So I think, again, we've seen over and over this season that fuel mileage plays a huge role in what we're doing. It's kind of set up that way to really make it, you know, the strategy come in. And it's been fun so far. So Phoenix, not real wild about it, but we'll see how we do.
Certainly been a fun season to watch, especially with all the strategy considering. We look forward to the rest of it. Certainly look forward to next week at Phoenix. But Chris, thanks for talking to us, man. Who do you want to shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it. First off, definitely need to thank my wife for giving me the time to be able to do this, run this league for as long as we've been going. You know, her dealing with a bunch of my crap and hanging with me there. Give a shout out to my son Sawyer. I know he'll go back and look at this and think it's cool that Dad's in the top 3, so shout out to him. But then definitely our sponsors with Spartan Transportation. We could not do what we do without them. And then R&R Racewear as well. Both of those have been with us for a very long time now and have put everything into this league to make it what it is. So we are definitely thankful for them. And then, of course, for you doing the broadcast for us, it's been awesome to go back and take a look at these, and I know the guys have been enjoying it as well.
Well, Chris, thanks for having us, man. Again, thanks for those kind words, and again, certainly thanks for chatting with us here. Wish you the best of luck next week out of Phoenix Raceway.
Thank you, sir.
Chris Wally, your 3rd place finisher here at Talladega Super Speedway. It's going to wrap up the interview portion of our broadcast. Let's take a look at the official race results. Of course, Brian McCann, Jaden Hopp, Chris Wally, your top 3. Cook Quick, a solid finishes in the 4th spot. Led some laps here tonight, had a good run overall. Aaron Smith, even after the crash, finishes in P5. Rick Kelly was 6th. Doug Wysocki came home in the 7th spot, 8th. Larry Bruner. Mike Cook was 9th. Stan Carnath in a strong run finishes 10th. Matt Kopp was 11th. Chris Mefford 12th. John Osborne comes home in the 13th spot. Brandon Mefford was 14th. Garrett Johnston 15th. Jeff Nose 16th. Jason Nilgis was 17th. 18th place finisher was Bill Tyndall. Neil Quick finishes 19th after an early strong run but got caught out with a pit mistake. Adam Johnson was 20th, Trevor Quick 21st, Mike McDonald was 22nd, and 23rd, 2 laps down, was the 28 of Josh Braley. Got to thank you guys all for tuning into the broadcast here tonight. Again, especially those of you guys in the stream chat. I do appreciate that participation. Honestly, it's not something you see on Fox or NBC or that sort of thing, but I like seeing it. It helps. Sometimes you guys can indicate something that's going on in the race that maybe I haven't seen or caught. What's going on with this driver? What's going on with that driver? It's just a friendly reminder. Hey, there's more than just the top 10 out there, folks. Let's watch them. Because a lot of times there's some good racing going on throughout the pack. So we do appreciate you guys tuning in each and every week. Obviously, there's some regulars, but hey, if you haven't tuned into the stream chat, maybe you try to do it next week at Phoenix. We'd love to have you. We do appreciate you being here. With all that said, check us out, hbrtv1.com. That's the website. Also on the YouTube side of things, youtube.com/@symbol, HBRTV, and the number 1. That's where all the live streams happen. But again, if you find us via the website, there's a live tab there as well. You can find us on YouTube from that link as well. I try to get those posted up. It's been a little chaotic here as of late. Haven't been able to do that, but feel free to at least peruse the website. Take a look at it. Let us know what you think. We do appreciate that as well. It's going to wrap it up for us here at HBR TV. I'm Steve Singer, congratulating Brian McCann on a thrilling finish here at Talladega Superspeedway. Join us next week at Phoenix. Same time, same channel. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good night.